Aries.
Hello Aries, a happy new year. We're looking at your forecast here for that of January 2016. And for you, it's going to be a really good and powerful career month for you. And that's because we got the sun, we got the new moon, and Mercury, Pluto as well, in that 10th house. So I'm seeing how you're going to be gearing up towards not just the short term, but also the long term aspects of where your career is heading. And I feel that you are now in a place where you have concluded some certain, I'd like to say maybe research, where December was more looking into matters, preparing for changes, or looking into maybe a possible promotion. Why? Because January could give you perhaps just that. The new moon is a time to really put down those intentions and look at not just what's coming up for the coming month, but for, in fact, the whole entire year before that of January 2017, when the new moon will come back to this area of your chart. Now, the sun will be moving into an aspect, a conjunction here with Pluto. Now, that is a very powerful time for transformation, making those changes. So you want to see what that is going to do there, probably within that first week, towards the end, coming into the beginning of week 2 of January. So whatever discussions you're going to have at that time, it is for you to actually speak, to voice what it is you are desiring and what you're looking at in the long term, because they're all ears taking in what it is you have to give and serve. What is also beautiful here now is that you've had some extra time to focus on your beloved, whether you are married, in a committed relationship. Venus and Mars now have been working with you on this level, especially Mars, which has been cruising through your 7th house. Now, from January 4th, Mars is going to move out, so into that 8th house. So you want to really make sure that if you have any loose ends, things that you want to deepen, do that before the 4th, but you'll still have some great opportunity to actually, when we talk about deepening, to do so when it goes into the 8th house. That is the house of Scorpio. And Scorpio is passionate about anything that it focuses on. It is also in the sign of Scorpio. So that's like a double whammy there for you, Aries. And you'll come to see throughout that transit of Mars here that you and your partner will be looking at what you can now bring forward as far as sharing your resources, sharing the love, what is fair or not. It's really time to balance up those accounts, if you so wish, for the last 3 weeks of January. But then we also have Mercury going retrograde on the 5th and will be until the 25th. For you, that is in the 10th house of career. So it's going to really allow you to go to backtrack a little bit. Look at perhaps past opportunities that you may not have accepted earlier. You can come to see that. Maybe some of that will be coming back around and representing itself to you. And in that case, take your time. Don't rush. But look at the possibilities there that are spread out. Whether you want to sample some of those things or to continue on the path that you're at. But retrograde here, I feel, can actually come to behoove you if you're dealing with it in the right way. But it's not a time to start anything new, as we know. When we have Mercury retrograde, we really want to just slow down a little bit so we can look at the full picture of what is present. People and places from the past could also emerge at this time. That's typical of a Mercury retrograde. So that's always very, very joyful to see people you haven't seen for a long time. Uranus is still cruising its way through your first house, and that's all about your personality. Now, for those of you born in the first half of the sign, have already gone through your personal transformations. Those born in the last 2 weeks of your sign, you're it. You're targeted, especially those of you who are born mid-sign right now are seeing that there's big life changes going on, and it's more you now wanting to liberate from situations where you previously might have felt a little bound and tied in, and where you're wanting to come forward more so now with the new you. And there's happy changes coming around. For others, it might be the opposite, where you're freeing yourself out of restrictions that have been difficult to deal with for a long time. But even in the end of that, you will come out of it feeling refreshed, renewed. Just ask your fellow Arians what they have been processing here over the last few years. Uranus is all about excitement, exploration, finding yourself on new and higher consciousness levels. And Uranus also rules time, just like Mercury. Mercury's really slow at getting there. It's linear, but since Uranus is that higher dimension of Mercury, we'll see that time levels really start speeding up. You will notice that things will warp on you at certain times, and it could really slow down at other times. But then you'll know that that is Uranus at its best, doing its job. So, talking about these outer planets, yes, we have Neptune still functioning in your 12th house. That is the subconscious mind. It's also the higher spiritual self. And there I see that you're still being guided and driven by ideals, the ideal perfect situation. And it's going to be here for a few years, so there's no rush there. But it is more that you're opening up step by step to engage with that little voice, the voice of intuition, which is a really great friend to have with you. Pluto is in your 10th house. It's tried to recreate who you are, transform your business, your goals, your career, and you're gaining step by step more and more power, Aries. But here in this, in the beginning of this month, we have the Sun and Pluto conjunct. We spoke about that. That is a pivotal point of transformation taking place on the 6th. So this is a day where you can feel super strong to voice and bring forward those things that you're passionate about. On the 7th, though, we have the Sun squaring off on Uranus. Now, Uranus can bring the unexpected, the wow factor, and when the transits are good, it brings us big, nice wow factors. When it's square like this, there could be a little tension. So you might want to see what that's going to do, and where this tension for you is coming from is between the area of where you're at, where you're wanting to head, and then that of business and career. So perhaps choices. When we have squares, we have a little bit of stress. Doesn't have to be stress in a negative way. It could be good stress. It could be really getting on with things and having that super rush of meeting up with deadlines and so forth. On the 9th, though, we got Venus and Saturn conjunct. And for you, this will be in your 9th house. For higher education, it is for long distance travel, for publication, maybe communicating and bonding with people in faraway places. And so Venus rules love and romance. So for those of you Arians who have a long distance relationship, for example, this could be a day where you can bring things into more of a grounded form. Saturn will always want to secure things and lock things in. So there might be some commitments, or maybe it could also indicate contracts, since money is also what is represented by Venus. Now there could be some good fortune coming to some of you here, and of course it's not all of you, but on the 12th and the 13th we have wonderful Jupiter aspects coming in here with Venus, the Sun, and Mercury here all trining Jupiter. So for that reason, it could be good news from afar. It could also just be now you getting a raise that you've been waiting for. Maybe some of you a delayed bonus, perhaps. Whatever the deal is, it can never go wrong when we have beautiful trines. Your Jupiter is in the 6th house, so it goes to show it's something you have worked for, all right? You've been putting your efforts forward, and in that sense now, coming from the 10th house, it is the moon, no, it is the sun and Mercury here, bringing this good news to it, and so that is all wonderful. However, though, we have Venus and Uranus with that trine, and Venus being in the 9th house. Again, it's something of higher aspirations that you may have been working for, and Uranus is what brings the unexpected, right? And in that case, it should be good. It's news about money. That's where money's coming from. And it could also, for some of you, represent love. If you're having a long distance relationship with that Venus up there in the 9th house, could definitely be that. And then Uranus coming here, wanting to surprise you, or maybe you're the one to surprise a loved one at distance. Then we have Mercury conjuncting Pluto in that 10th house, just where the sun was earlier on the 5th. Well, here it is now, Mercury taking that very same spot and now wanting to communicate, and maybe you're going to get some news back from whatever was negotiated or talked about. You might get some feedback, response, or maybe even a green light. That's the 22nd, so that should be good as well. Now on the 30th, though, we're really looking at what you can expect as far as love and romance. This is Venus coming up here with your hopes, your dreams, because it's connecting to Neptune, the higher ideal, the higher octave of Venus. So the two of them together doing that dance, a sextile in the skies, well, for you, that should definitely be something that you've been dreaming about, because that Neptune is in your 12th house for the subconsciousness, and then the Venus coming in there and opening up that magic door. This is a great date night to have. If you're planning anything, circle that in on your calendar. So in the overall, as we're seeing, the deeper transformation this month will be when Mars ingresses into the 8th house of Scorpio in the sign of Scorpio. This is going to allow you to passionately transform those things that are really held close to heart. And I would like to say with your significant other. For those of you who are single, well, this could be a time where you're going to be attracting somebody, and in that case, it's somebody who is somewhat very intense and passionate of nature, which is really going to spark things off here with you. So listen, this is what I have for you here, Aries, for this month. I'm really excited about next month when Venus now gets into that area for you where you're going to see expansion taking place, but more about that next time. Have a good one.